I'm in the middle of a workout, so I'm going to talk about diet, because whether you're working out or not, diet is always something you have to do. You have to be eating. It seems as though the big infighting between all the diet gurus, they can't agree on what a proper diet is, or a healthy diet. And the answer is, they absolutely can. So it doesn't matter whether you're doing carnivore, or keto, or zone, or Atkins, or South Beach, North Beach, Mediterranean. There's a million diets out there. Now, they all agree on the same thing. Do not eat processed foods, and high amounts of table sugar or high fructose corn syrup is just not ideal. So they all agree. So let's just keep it at that. But an ideal diet, just hear me out on this, and at the end, and only at the end, tell me I'm wrong. Don't start typing in, do your research, go keto, or stupid stuff like that. Tell me if I'm wrong. And then you could type in keto or carnivore or whatever you want. You can pick your community. Here's the deal. How you eat, you're not in a community. It's not that you're joining a group based on how you eat. It's ridiculous. Just eat food. So an ideal diet would be this. Number one, to have the proper amount of protein for what your body needs. Now, a 260-pound bodybuilder at 6% body fat needs more protein than I do. If you get injured, you're going to need slightly more protein. If you're inactive, you're going to need slightly less protein. But I think everybody could agree that you should be getting adequate protein based upon your lean body mass. Now, whether that's 0.6 grams per pound or 1 gram per pound depends on your activity level. So there's different variations. But you should be eating enough protein. No one is going to endorse eating less protein than your body requires. But no one would, in the right mind, endorse eating too much protein, because too much protein is bad for your kidneys. Too little protein, you're malnourished. So adequate protein. That makes sense. The second thing, let's talk about the four-letter word, carbohydrates. Because everybody wants to think that carbohydrates are bad. And actually what they mean are donuts are bad, cookies are bad, potato chips are bad. They think those are carbohydrates, but you should be getting adequate carbohydrates to supply enough energy and nutrients for your body. The proper carbohydrates come in the form of vegetables and fruits. And these foods are carbohydrates. So when someone says, I'm going low carb and I'm vegetarian, I'm eating mainly vegetables, I'm low carb, you're not low carb. You're high percentage carb. It's just what you're saying is when you say you're no carb, you're not eating cookies anymore. You should have adequate protein. You should have adequate amounts of carbohydrates so that you can supply minerals and vitamins necessary for human health. Now, you shouldn't be overeating carbohydrates, but you shouldn't be under-consuming carbohydrates. It's very silly to think when people say there is no essential carbohydrate. And you're like, then why does your body break down protein to make carbohydrates? It's for energy. Carbohydrates are necessary. They supply a lot of vitamins and minerals and nutrients and yada yada. I'm sorry about the background, by the way. My neighbor, this is not the one that smokes a bong load every day. I got a guy, one of my other neighbors, a couple doors down, he's doing some construction work, so that's what you hear in the background. Now, we've got protein, we got carbohydrates, now we have fats. You should be getting the proper amount of healthy fats to maintain good health. Who would disagree with that? Now, the question is, what is a good fat? Is it a trans fat? Is it margarine? Is it butter? Most of us can agree that monounsaturated fats are generally the best types of fats. Now, that doesn't mean you only eat that. Saturated fats are actually positive for us in certain amounts, but not excessive. You don't want to eat so many fats that you are exceeding the amount that your body would require and need. Now, you don't need a lot of fat, but you do need some fat. Now, the average person is eating foods that are low in protein. So most people are protein malnourished. They're eating too many carbohydrates because they're eating the wrong carbohydrates and thus getting too much sugar. And they're eating a high fat diet with those carbohydrates, but it's the wrong fats. If the average person is eating high carbohydrate, high fat, low protein, and I'm advocating eating adequate protein, adequate carbohydrates, and adequate fat, who's the nut? Now, if you were to just eat a ribeye steak, for example, you're getting nothing but protein and fat. If you were to eat a lean steak, you're getting a little bit of protein, but mainly, a lot of protein and a little bit of fat, no carbohydrates. The reason why that works for some people is because they're eliminating all the other foods that are aggravating their body, and it's basically an elimination diet. You're only eating one food, and since it's supplying protein, chances are you're not going to be protein malnourished, at least. Your body can convert protein into carbohydrates, and that's what it does. So the perfect diet is one that gives me the amount of protein I need, the amount of carbohydrates that I need for energy, as well as supplying nutrients. Thus, I can't eat a Snicker bar. I have to eat a vegetable or a fruit or a combination of that. And then the oil comes from things like nuts, avocados, olive oil. That's the perfect diet, percentage-wise, if you want to know. Now, this is not just in my opinion, but most of the studies say this is it. So I'll put some links down below. Your job is to tell me I'm wrong. So let those things fly in the comments. And if you want to see a cool video on something to eat that's pretty healthy for you, just click this video right here. I'm going to get back to my workout. Thanks for watching.